Welcome back to Texas Cooking Today. On this episode, we have a wonderful, tasty recipe. Extra creamy macaroni and cheese. And this is the creamiest, best tasting macaroni and cheese that I've ever put in my mouth. I've been a connoisseur of mac and cheese my whole life. So I'll tell you what, let me show you this simple recipe. Come a little closer. Let's go over what we have to cook with here. Okay, very simple ingredients. This isn't actually part of the recipe. In and of, it doesn't actually go in the mac and cheese, it just goes next to it and makes it a little nicer in that way. Now first of all, let's start with the pasta. I've chosen a really unique pasta here. This is called pipe rigotti, and it's sort of like a cross between a shell macaroni and an elbow macaroni, and they're wonderful because when they're cooked they don't nestle into each other the way a shell does, and also they're really neat because they hold so much sauce. So what I have here is 12 ounces of pipe rigotti is what that's called. Over here, 8 ounces of extra sharp cheddar cheese. Make sure you get a very, very sharp cheddar for this. This recipe works best this way. I have here 2 tablespoons of butter. Easy to know how to measure your butter. Look on the side of the butter package and it tells you really clear and simple measurements there. This is 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Whipping cream is what that's called also. And we're going to use a pinch of salt, and that's just going to bring out some of that cheese and cream flavor just a little bit better. But remember, if you're using salted butter, to not go crazy with your salt, okay? First thing we need to do is get our pipe rigotti down into boiling water. Let's move right over there. I have here my pot of water, which is just coming to a boil. Place about 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt down in that water. You don't have to go crazy with it. Did I say table? Teaspoons. Like a 5-finger pinch. And that's more than enough. Now, place the pipe rigotti into it. Pour it in kind of slowly like I did, and that way each of the pieces of pasta gets well surrounded by water. And they'll be a little less apt to stick that way. Frankly, putting oil in the water does nothing good for it. It floats on top of it, and the only thing that you might end up getting is towards the end, a little of that oil might get put on the pasta as you pour the water out, but it's not likely. So, just don't bother with it. Now, we need to start on the sauce. That pasta should take roughly 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is just take a little simple timer here. We're going to set it up to 10 minutes. And we'll check that pasta when that beeps. On this burner here, I want to go ahead and turn the burner on, and I'm going to set it for a medium heat. I'm going to take my cream, get it ready, and my butter. Go ahead and place the butter inside. Just a little bit's left over there. There's always a piece that fights. Now, once that butter has melted, we'll put the cream in there, and we're going to heat the two together. Now for this, it works best if you have a whisk. You can do this with a spoon. If you're going to use a spoon, try to use a slotted spoon, or something with holes in it, so the liquid will pass through it better and you'll get better stirring action. Our butter is completely melted. Pouring in the cream now. If you think about it, where does butter come from? It comes from cream. Okay? So what we're doing is just putting some right back into it. Now what I'm going to do is bring this cream up in temperature. And I want it to get just a little over 100 degrees. One thing that you can do is to put a thermometer into your pan, and that way you can find out the temperature easy. Also, having a simple cook's thermometer is very smart in the kitchen. A nice digital one, something like this, we can insert, and quickly we find out we're up to 98, 101 degrees. So it's heating really quick. At this point, once I have over 100 degree temperature, which this one also shows, you you see here. It's time for us to go ahead and start working in our cheese. Just sprinkle in at about a handful at a time some of your cheese. I know, this looks deceptively simple, doesn't it? Okay, now, the cream has started to put off a little bit of steam. Temperature's up on it. 37.6. I'm dropping the heat on it. 38.2. You don't need to take this over 140. Okay? So, there we have a perfect cheese sauce. You may be thinking that is a little bit on the thin side. Don't worry about that. What's going to happen as soon as we mix it in with the macaroni, with that pasta, it's going to go ahead and soak up some of that moisture from this, thereby thickening this. It's going to make for a wonderful macaroni and cheese. A little under 1 minute left on our timer. So I'm going to check this. What I want to do is to pull out just a single one, if I can. Cool it down. I'm going to taste it. That's our 10-minute mark. Okay. It needs 2 more minutes. It needs to cook a little more tender. Beautiful. That's good. I'm going to add some salt to mine because it just needs a little bit, not much. Stir that a couple of times and then taste it again. Now, I need to pour off the water. When you're doing this, you can use a colander or the lid placed on the pot just tipped slightly. Be careful doing that though, you can burn yourself easily. Let's pour this right off into the mac. Again, like I said, looks a little on the thin side. Please don't worry. That problem gets resolved here in about the next 10 minutes. The easy part about doing this is what you have to do now, which is simply place a lid on it, set it aside and give it 10 minutes. So we'll set that timer again and we'll be back to check that in 10 minutes. I gave this a couple of extra minutes, been about 15, but look how that has thickened up, how easily it's coating my macaroni product and staying in place. This is perfect. This is an excellent macaroni and cheese right here. What we're looking for. Hey, wasn't that easy? It's not much different from buying those cheap boxes. So, next time you want to make mac and cheese, hey, give this one a try. And I guarantee you, you're not going to regret it. Man, that is just so creamy. Spot on. I tell you, I don't think it really gets much better. That is the best macaroni and cheese. The best macaroni and cheese I've ever had. Give this a try, you're going to love it. Thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today. Thank you for my subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And you have a good day. Thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today, the show where you can get great recipes and the best techniques are taught. Please subscribe to Texas Cooking Today, where you will always find something hot and ready to eat.